The alarm screamed through the medical bay of Mercy's Edge Station. Dr. Kekslani dropped the data pad. They were reading and rushed toward the emergency room. Their forearms moved quickly as they grabbed medical tools from the wall. The blue lights on their scaled face flashed bright with worry. "What do we have?" Kekslani asked as they entered the room. Nurse Veltar looked up from the scanner. Her 6 eyes were wide with fear. "Human male, found in a damaged escape pod 3 hours ago. His ship exploded near the asteroid field." Kekslani had never treated a human before. He knew humans were new to the galaxy. Most doctors said humans were weak and soft compared to other species. But this one looked even worse than Kekslani expected. The human lay still on the medical table. His skin was pale white, almost gray. Blood covered his clothes and dripped onto the floor. His chest barely moved up and down. Each breath sounded wet and painful. "His name is Marcus Chen," Veltar said, reading from her screen. "Age 32, explorer from Earth." Kekslani moved closer to examine the human. They had studied human anatomy in medical school, but seeing one in person was different. The human looked so small and fragile. His body seemed like it would break if touched too hard. "What are his injuries?" Kekslani asked. "Where do I start?" Veltar's voice shook. "Internal bleeding in his chest and stomach. 3 broken ribs. 1 punctured his lung. His liver is damaged. His kidney is failing. There's bleeding in his brain, too." Kekslani felt their hearts sink. They had 4 hearts, like all Zephyrians. Right now, all 4 were beating fast with stress. These injuries would kill any species they knew. Even a tough Korgan warrior would not survive this damage. "How is he still alive?" Kekslani whispered. "I don't know," Veltar said, "but not for long. Blood pressure's dropping fast." Kekslani looked at the monitors around the table. Red lights flashed everywhere. Numbers kept going down. The human's heartbeat was weak and getting weaker. "Get me the universal plasma," Kekslani ordered, "and prep the tissue regenerator." Dr. Veltar said quietly, "I don't think anything will help. He's lost too much blood. His organs are shutting down." Kekslani knew she was right, but they had to try. They had taken an oath to save lives, no matter what species. Even if this human was already dying, the next hour was the hardest of Kekslani's career. They tried everything they knew. They gave the human blood. They used healing rays on his wounds. They injected medicine to help his organs work. Nothing helped. Marcus Chen's eyes opened once during the treatment. They were brown like dirt or tree bark. He looked right at Kekslani and tried to speak. Only blood came out of his mouth. Then his eyes closed again. "His heart rate is dropping," Veltar said. 40 beats per minute. 30, 20. Kekslani watched the screen show the human's life slipping away. They felt helpless. All their years of medical training meant nothing. This small, soft creature was dying and there was nothing they could do. 15 beats per minute, Veltar whispered. Other medical staff had gathered around the table. Dr. Thixmer from surgery was there. So was Dr. Yindis from the trauma unit. They all watched in silence as the numbers fell. 10 beats per minute. Kekslani tried one more injection. A powerful stimulant that could restart most hearts. They pushed it into the human's arm. Nothing happened. 5 beats per minute. "Come on," Kekslani said under their breath. "Fight." The heart monitor made a long, steady beep. The line on the screen went flat. Marcus Chen's chest stopped moving. His body went completely still. "Time of death," Dr. Thixmer said, looking at the clock. 1437. Hours. The room fell quiet, except for the sound of machines. Kekslani stared down at the dead human. They felt like they had failed. Even though everyone knew the human could not be saved, it still hurt. "Should we contact his family?" Veltar asked. As Kekslani said, and prepare the body for something made them stop. A feeling, a strange urge to keep watching. Kekslani had been a doctor for 20 years. They had seen many patients die. But something about this felt different. Dr. Veltar asked, "Are you okay?" "Keep the monitors on him," Kekslani said. "Sir, he's dead, I know, but keep them on anyway." The other doctors looked at each other with confusion. They did not argue. Dr. Kekslani was known for being very smart. If they wanted to keep monitoring a dead body, there must be a reason. Kekslani pulled up a chair next to the table. They sat down and watched the screens. All the lines were flat. All the numbers were 0. Marcus Chen was dead. But something deep inside Kekslani said to wait, to watch, to see what happened next. They had no idea that in 18 minutes everything they knew about life and death was about to change forever. 18 minutes passed. Kekslani sat beside the dead human, watching the flat lines on the monitors. The other doctors had left to handle other patients. Only Nurse Veltar stayed, cleaning up the medical tools they had used. Dr. Shea said, "Softly, you should get some rest. There's nothing more we can do for him." Kekslani nodded but did not move. Something felt wrong about leaving. They had never felt this way about a dead patient before. Usually death was final, clear, but this time felt different. The room was quiet except for the steady beep of the flatline monitor. Marcus Chen's body lay still under the white sheet. His face was peaceful now, no longer twisted in pain than had happened. The heart monitor made a different sound. Not the long, flat beep, but a small blip. Kekslani looked up at the screen. The line had jumped for just a second, then went flat again. "Did you see that?" Kekslani asked. Veltar looked at the monitor. "See what, doctor? The heart monitor?" "Right." It jumped. "That's just interference from the station's power grid. It happens sometimes with dead patients." Kekslani frowned. They had seen power interference before. This looked different. He leaned closer to watch the screen. Another blip, stronger. This time, there. "Did you see it now?" Veltar moved closer to look. "I maybe." "But doctor, he's been dead for 18 minutes. That's impossible." Then the monitor beeped. A real heartbeat. The line on the screen showed the familiar pattern of a working heart. Both doctors stared in shock. "Check the connections," Kekslani said quickly. "Maybe the monitor's broken." Ran her hands over all the wires and sensors. "Everything is connected right. The machine is working fine." Another heartbeat appeared on the screen, then another. The beeps came faster now, growing stronger with each beat. "This can't be happening." Veltar whispered. "Kex single quotes." Lonnie pulled the sheet back from Marcus Chen's chest. They placed their hand over his heart. They could feel it beating, weak but real. "Get Dr. Thixmer," Kekslani ordered. "And Dr. Yindis. Get everyone now." Veltar ran from the room, her 6 legs moving faster than Kekslani had ever seen. It stayed with Marcus, watching as more monitors began to show life signs. His blood pressure was rising. His brain activity was coming back. The oxygen levels in his blood were improving. Everything was getting better, but slowly. Dr. Thixmer burst into the room first. "What's the emergency?" Veltar said something about the dead human. "Look at the monitors," Kekslani said, pointing to the screens. Thixmer's 3 eyes went wide. "That's not possible. I checked him myself." More doctors crowded into the room. Dr. Yindis, Dr. Morkith, from Alien Biology, and several nurses. They all stared at the monitors in disbelief. "How long has this been going on?" Dr. Yindis asked. "About 3 minutes now," Kekslani said. His heart just started beating again. "Run a full scan," Dr. Morkith ordered. "Check everything. There has to be an explanation." They hooked Marcus up to every scanner they had. The results made no sense. His heart was getting stronger every minute. His damaged organs were starting to work again. Even the bleeding in his brain was stopping. "Look at this," Veltar said, pointing to another screen. "His broken ribs. They're moving back into place." Everyone crowded around to see. "The bones in Marcus's chest were slowly shifting. The broken pieces were finding each other and starting to heal." "That's impossible," Dr. Thixmer said. "Bones don't heal themselves that fast, not without medical help." "Nothing about this is possible," Dr. Yindis added. He was dead. Really dead. No brain activity, no heartbeat, no breathing. Now he's healing faster than our best medical machines. Could fix him? Kekslani checked Marcus's wounds. The cuts on his skin were closing. Internal bleeding had stopped completely. His color was returning from gray to a healthy pink. His temperature is rising too, Veltar reported. Back to normal human levels. They watched in amazement as Marcus Chen's body fixed itself. It was like watching a recording played backwards. All the damage from the accident was disappearing. Then Marcus's eyes opened. The doctors all stepped back in fear. His brown eyes looked around the room, confused but alert. He tried to sit up, but Kexalani gently pushed him back down. "Easy," Kexalani said. "Don't move too fast." Marcus looked at all the alien faces staring at him. His voice was rough and weak, but he could speak. "Water," he said. "Could I have some water?" The doctors looked at each other. A man who had been dead for 20 minutes was asking for water like nothing had happened. Veltar brought him a cup. Marcus drank it slowly, his hands shaking a little. "What happened?" he asked. "The last thing I remember was the explosion. My ship ... Your ship was destroyed," Kexalani said carefully. "You were badly hurt. Very badly hurt." Marcus nodded and tried to sit up again. This time, Kexalani let him. He looked down at his chest where the worst wounds had been. The skin was pink and new, but healed. "How long was I out?" Marcus asked. The doctors looked at each other again. None of them wanted to answer. "About an hour," Kexalani said finally. "Feels longer," Marcus said. He stretched his arms and moved his shoulders. "I feel okay, though. Little sore, but okay. When can I leave?" Dr. Thixmer made a choking sound. Dr. Yinda sat down heavily in a chair. The nurses whispered to each other in their own languages. "We need to run some tests," Kexalani said, "to make sure you're really okay." "Sure," Marcus said, "but I'm pretty tough. Yeah, we humans are hard to kill." He smiled when he said it like it was a joke. But none of the aliens were laughing. They had just watched something that should have been impossible. A dead man had come back to life and healed himself, and he was acting like it was normal. For the next 3 days, Kexalani could not sleep. They spent every free moment studying Marcus Chen. The human had agreed to stay in the medical bay for testing. He seemed happy to help, even though he kept saying he felt fine. "Run the bone. Density scan again," Kexalani told Veltar on the morning of the 4th day. "Doctor, we've already run it 6 times. The results are always the same, I know, but I need to be sure." Kexalani looked at the test results spread across their desk. Every scan showed the same impossible thing. Marcus's bones were now stronger than they had been before the accident. The breaks had healed perfectly, leaving the bones even tougher than before. Marcus, Kexalani said, walking into his room. "How do you feel today?" Marcus was sitting up. In bed, reading a book on his personal device. He looked completely healthy. It's better than healthy, actually. His skin had a good color, and his eyes were bright. "It's great, Doc. Really great. When can I get out of here? Not that I don't like the company, but I have places to go." Kexalani sat down in the chair next to his bed. They had been talking to Marcus, every day trying to understand what had happened. But the human always acted like nothing strange had occurred. "Marcus, I need to ask you something important. Has this happened to you before? Has what happened before? Have you ever been badly hurt and healed very fast?" Marcus thought for a moment. "Well, I broke my arm when I was 12. Fell out of a tree. It healed pretty quick. My mom said I was a fast healer." "How fast?" "The doctor said 6 weeks. But I was using it normally after 3 weeks. Mom made me keep the cast on anyway." Kexalani wrote this down in their notes. "About other injuries?" "Let me think." Marcus scratched his head. "I got shot once on a mining planet. Bullet went right through my shoulder. That was scary." "How long did that take to heal?" "About a week. Left a cool scar, though." Marcus pulled down his shirt to show a small white mark on his shoulder. Kexalani stared at the scar. A bullet wound healing in 1 week was impossible for most species. For humans, it seemed normal. "Have you ever been really sick?" Kexalani asked. "Got the Rigel flu 2 years ago. That was rough. But I was back to work in a few days." "A few days?" Kexalani could not hide their surprise. Rigel flu kills most species. The few who survive take months to recover. Marcus shrugged. "Guess I got lucky. My friend Jake was sick for 2 weeks, though. Poor guy." Kexalani made more notes. They were starting to see a pattern. Marcus was not special among humans. He was normal, which meant all humans might have these incredible healing abilities. "Marcus, can you tell me about Earth? About how humans live there?" "Earth." Marcus smiled. "It's home. Beautiful place. Bit dangerous, though. Dangerous how? Oh, Whether animals, diseases, natural disasters, the usual stuff Kexlani did not know. Their home planet was peaceful and safe. Can you give me examples? Well, we have these storms called hurricanes. Winds over 200 kilometers per hour. They can destroy whole cities. How do humans survive them? We build strong houses and hide in basements. Most people make it through okay. Kexalani wrote this. Down on their planet, winds half that speed would kill everyone. What about animals? They asked. Oh, lots of dangerous ones. Bears, sharks, poisonous snakes, big cats. When I was growing up, we had to watch out for bears near our house. Bears, it's big furry creatures with claws and teeth. They can weigh 400 kilos. One swipe can break your ribs. And humans just live near them? Sure, you learn to be careful. Make noise when you walk in the woods so you don't surprise them. Keep your food locked up when camping. Kexlani was amazed. The most dangerous animal on their planet was about the size of a small dog. Got about diseases? They asked. Marcus thought for a moment. We've got plenty. Cancer, heart disease, infections. But medical science is pretty good now. Most people live long lives. How long? Averages about 80 years. Some people live to be over 100. Kexlani almost dropped their notes. Most species in the galaxy lived 40 to 50 years. A few hardy ones made it to 60. Marcus, has anyone ever told you that humans are unusually tough? Tough? Marcus laughed. No way. We're pretty fragile, actually. No claws, no thick skin. No poison. We're not even that strong compared to some Earth animals. But you survive things that would kill other species. Do we? Marcus looked confused. I thought all intelligent species were pretty similar. Kexalani realized that humans had no idea how special they were. They thought everyone could survive the things they survived. Over the next few days, Kexalani interviewed Marcus about human history. What they learned was shocking. Humans had survived ice ages that covered most of their planet. They had lived through plagues that killed millions but never wiped them out completely. They had endured volcanic eruptions, asteroid impacts, and countless wars. We're survivors, Marcus said when Kexalani asked about it, when bad things happen. Humans find a way to keep going. It's what we do. But how? We adapt. We help each other. We don't give up, Marcus smiled. My grandfather used to say, humans are like weeds. We grow anywhere and we're hard to kill. Kexalani spent hours reading about Earth. It was a death world by galactic standards. The weather could kill you. Animals could kill you. The diseases could kill you. Even the plants could be deadly. And humans had not just survived there. They had thrived. They had become the dominant species on their planet. I need to run one more test, Kexalani told Marcus. On his final day in the medical bay, what kind of test? I want to take a small sample of your blood and damage it. Then watch how it heals. Sure, but why? I'm trying to understand how human healing works. I took the blood sample and exposed it to radiation that would destroy the cells of any other species. Human blood began repairing itself immediately. The damaged cells fixed their own DNA and started growing again. Incredible, Kexalani whispered. Good results? Marcus asked. Very good. Marcus, I think you can go home now, finally. Marcus stood up and stretched. Thanks for taking such good care of me, Doc. You've saved my life. Kexalani watched him leave, knowing that Marcus had no idea what he really was. Thought he was fragile and weak. But he was actually one of the most durable creatures in the known galaxy. And if Marcus was normal for his species, then humans were going to change everything. 2 weeks after Marcus left the station, the emergency alarms went off again. Kexalani rushed to the medical bay, expecting another routine case. What they found changed everything. 3 humans lay on medical tables. All of them were badly hurt. All of them should have been dead. What happened? Kexalani asked Dr. Thixmer, who was standing over one of the patients. Mining accident on Kepler Station. Explosion in the tunnels. These 3 humans were trapped. For 6 hours before rescue teams found them, Kexalani looked at the first human. Her name was Sarah Walsh, according to her ID card. She had burns over half her body and a broken back. Any other species would have died from the burns alone, but Sarah was conscious and talking. "Is my team okay?" she asked when she saw Kexlani. "There were 5 of us down there. We're treating everyone," Kexlani said. "Try to rest." "I'm fine. Really, just a little sore." Kexlani moved to the second patient. David Kim had been crushed by falling rocks. His legs were broken in multiple places. 3 ribs were cracked. But he was sitting up and asking for something to eat. The third human, Ana Rodriguez, had been buried under debris for hours. She had breathing problems and internal injuries. She was the worst off, but even she was stable and talking. Dr. Veltar said quietly, "Their injuries. They're healing while we watch." She was right. Kexlani could see Sarah's burns getting better by the hour. David's broken bones were already starting to mend. Ana's internal bleeding had stopped on its own. Dr. Yindis joined them. "I don't understand this. 3 humans, all with fatal injuries, all recovering without treatment. It's like Marcus all over again," Dr. Thixmer said. "But worse, these injuries should have killed them instantly." Over the next few days, more human patients arrived at the station. A trader who survived a ship crash that should have killed everyone on board, a scientist who fell into a toxic lake and lived, a soldier who got shot 12 times and walked to the hospital. Each case was impossible. Each human acted like their survival was normal. Lani called a meeting of all the senior doctors. They gathered in the main conference room to discuss what they were seeing. "We need to face the facts," Kexlani said. "Humans are not like other species. They can survive things that kill everyone else. But how?" Dr. Morketh asked. "What makes them so tough?" "I've been studying human medical files," Dr. Yindis said. "The patterns are incredible. They have backup organs for everything important. 2 kidneys, 2 lungs, even their liver can regrow if damaged. Their bones are unusual too," Dr. Thixmer added. "They break under stress, but breaking actually makes them stronger when they heal." Kexlani pulled up a hologram of human anatomy. "Look at their circulatory system. They have blood vessels everywhere. If some get damaged, others take over. They can lose half their blood and still function." "What about their brain?" Dr. Morketh asked. "That's the most amazing part," Kexlani said. "Human brains can work even when damaged. They can lose whole sections, and the remaining parts adapt to take over." Dr. Yindis shook her head in wonder. "On my planet, any head injury is fatal. Humans regularly survive severe brain damage and recover completely." "There's something else," Kexlani said. "I've been researching human history. Their planet tried to kill them for millions of years. They showed images of Earth on the main screen. Massive storms, erupting volcanoes, giant predators, deadly diseases. They evolved in constant danger," Kexlani continued. "Ice ages, meteor, impacts, supervolcano eruptions. Most species would have gone extinct. Humans adapted and got stronger. So they're naturally selected for survival," Dr. Morketh said. "Exactly. Only the toughest humans lived long enough to have children. After millions of years, the entire species became incredibly durable." Double quotes, Dr. Thixmer brought up another image. "Look at this. Human children playing on their planet." The image showed young humans climbing tall trees, swimming in dangerous water, and running around near large animals. "Their children do things that would terrify adult members of most species," Dr. Thixmer said. "And the human parents think it's normal. Because it is normal for them," Kexlani realized. "They don't know they're tough. They think everyone can survive what they survive." Dr. Yindis pulled up medical records. "I've been comparing human injury reports with other species. Humans regularly walk away from accidents that would put anyone else in the morgue. Car crashes, falls, industrial accidents," Dr. Morketh read from the list. "They treat broken bones like minor inconveniences." "And their pain tolerance," Dr. Thixmer added. "I watched Sarah Walsh joke with nurses while her broken back was healing."
Warrior, warrior, wood, woo, 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 woo,
Kexlani thought. About Marcus and all the human patients they had treated. They're not just tough, they're impossibly tough. Built to survive on a world that constantly tries to kill them. But they don't act tough, Veltar said from the corner. They're actually quite friendly and helpful. That's another survival trait, Dr. Yinda said. Humans work together when facing danger. They help each other survive. Kexlani stood up and walked to the window. Outside, they could see several human ships docked at the station. Normal people going about their daily lives, completely unaware that they were walking biological miracles. We need to document all of this, Kexlani said. The galactic medical community needs to know what we've learned. Will anyone believe us? Dr. Morkith asked. They'll have to. We have the evidence. Kexlani turned back to the group. Humans aren't the weak, fragile species everyone thought they were. They might be the most durable species in known space. Does this mean for galactic medicine? Dr. Thixmer asked. Everything changes, Kexlani said. If we can understand how human healing works, we might be able to help other species survive injuries that kill them now. And what about humans themselves? Velta asked. Kai Zalani smiled. I think the galaxy is about to discover that humans don't just belong here. They're probably safer in space than most of us are on our home planets. The doctor sat in silence, thinking about what they had learned. Humans were not visitors to the galaxy. They were survivors, built by a death world, to endure anything the universe could throw at them. And they were just getting started. 6 months later, Dr. Kexlani stood before the Galactic Medical Council. Representatives from dozens of species filled the Great Hall. They had come to hear about the discovery that was changing medicine across the galaxy. Honored colleagues, Kexlani began. What I am about to tell you will sound impossible, but I have proof of everything. They activated the holographic display. Images of human patients filled the space above the crowd. Marcus Chen appeared first, showing his before and after scans. This human died for 18 minutes, then healed himself completely. This is not science fiction. This is documented medical fact. Murmurs of disbelief filled the hall. Dr. Kexlani had expected this reaction. I know how this sounds. Felt the same way when I first witnessed it, but humans are not like us. They're far more durable than any species we have encountered. The presentation continued for 2 hours. Kexlani showed case after case of human survival. Each example was more incredible than the last. When they finished, the hall was silent. Finally, Dr. Zena Kara from the Altarian Medical Institute stood up. Dr. Kexlani, you are asking us to believe that humans can survive injuries that would kill any known species. This challenges everything we know about biology. I understand your doubt, Kexlani replied. That's why I brought proof. Marcus Chen walked onto the stage. The crowd gasped.
Many of them
Had seen his death scans during the presentation. Hello, everyone, Marcus said with a smile. Dr. Kexlani saved my life. Well, sort of. I guess I saved my own life, but they helped. Dr. Zenakara stood up. Young human, we were told you suffered fatal injuries.
Ow.
Great, better than ever, actually.
The doc says.
My bones are stronger now than before the accident. May we examine you? Dr. Zenakara asked. Sure. For the next hour. The galaxy's best doctors examined Marcus. They ran every test they could think of. The results confirmed everything Kexlani had reported. Dr. Tolvin from the Zephyrian Science Academy was the first to accept the truth. This changes everything, she announced. If humans can heal like this, we need to study their biology. We could save millions of lives. Over the following months, the research began. Human volunteers worked with alien scientists to understand their unique abilities. The discoveries were amazing. Human blood could repair itself after massive damage. Human bones grew back stronger after breaking. Human organs could function even when severely injured. It's like they're built from spare parts, Dr. Thixmer told a conference of surgeons. If one system fails, another takes over. The first medical breakthrough came from studying human bone healing. Scientists developed new treatments that helped other species heal fractures in days instead of months. The second breakthrough was in blood medicine. Human blood cells could teach alien cells how to repair genetic damage. New treatments for genetic diseases became possible, but the biggest change was in emergency medicine. Doctors learned that many injuries they thought were fatal could actually be survived. They stopped giving up on patients too quickly. Humans have taught us that life is tougher than we thought, Dr. Yindus wrote in her famous paper. We must fight harder to save every patient. Meanwhile, news of human durability spread across the galaxy. Other species began to see humans differently. The Korgan Empire, known for their warrior culture, invited humans to join their military. Anyone who can come back from the dead, said General Thokmar, belongs in our army. Trade companies started hiring human explorers for dangerous missions. If the job might kill you became a common saying, send a human. Even peaceful species wanted to learn from humans. The gentle Etherians asked human teachers to show them how to be brave in the face of danger. Humans don't just survive, observed philosopher Lamara from Celesta Prime. They thrive in conditions that would break most spirits. There is something inspiring about their refusal to give up. Back on Mercy's Edge Station, Kexalani watched these changes with pride. The medical bay had been redesigned using human healing principles. Recovery times for all species had improved dramatically, Marcus. Chen had accepted a position as the first human medical consultant in galactic history. He worked with alien doctors, teaching them about human biology and helping them understand their own patients better. You know what's funny? Kea said to Kexalani one day as they reviewed patient files. Everyone keeps telling me how tough humans are. I've met Korgan soldiers and Therian miners. They seem pretty tough to me too. They are tough, Kexalani agreed, but they know their limits. Humans seem to have no limits. Oh, we have limits, Marcus laughed. We just don't pay much attention to them. That afternoon, emergency alarms sounded again. A transport ship had crashed near the station. Dozens of passengers from multiple species were injured. Kexalani and Marcus rushed to the medical bay. The scene was chaotic, but organized. Alien doctors worked alongside human consultants, using new techniques based on human biology. They saved everyone. Patients who would have died a year ago walked out of the hospital. The impossible had become routine. Dr. Kexalani called Nurse Velter. We have a new admission. Korgan warrior. Severe injuries from a mining accident. Prognosis, Kexalani asked. 6 months ago, I would have said hopeless. Now, Veltar smiled. I think he'll be fine. We've learned a lot from our human friends. As Kexalani treated the Korgan patient, they reflected on how much had changed. The galaxy was safer now. Medical science had advanced by centuries, in just 1 year, all because one human had died and come back to life. Marcus was right when he said humans were survivors. But they were more than that. They were teachers, showing the rest of the galaxy that life was stronger and more precious than anyone had imagined. The universe was vast and dangerous, full of things that could kill you. But humans had proven something important. Death was not the end of the story. Sometimes it was just the beginning of getting back up and trying again. And if humans could do it, maybe everyone else could too. The galaxy would never be the same.